Welcome to the second episode of the Science News, which is a Kalimpong Science Centre presentation. And straight away, we start with the news that American astronaut Scott Kelly has returned to Earth after spending 340 days in space. In November 2012, NASA and the Russian Federal Space Agency, Roscosmos, and their international partners selected 2 veteran spacefarers for a one-year mission aboard the International Space Station in 2015. So this mission includes collecting scientific data, which is very important to future human exploration of a solar system. And NASA selected Scott Kelly, and Roscosmos chose Mikhail Kornienko. Mikhail and Kelly launched aboard a Russian spacecraft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on 27 March 2015 and landed in Kazakhstan on 1st of March 2016 according to the US time, having spent 340 days in space. We want to know about the goal of this year-long expedition. The goal has been, they've been orbiting all around space just to understand better how the human body reacts and adapts to the harsh environment of space. Whatever information has been collected from the past 12 months will help inform current assessments of crew performance and health, and will also determine better and validate countermeasures to reduce the risks associated with future exploration as NASA plans for missions around the Moon, an asteroid, and ultimately the much sought after planet, the Mars. So part of this research also includes a comparative study on the genetic effects of space flight with Scott's twin brother Mark as the ground control subject. But for the moment, it's good news that Scott Kelly is back to Earth after spending 340 days in space. A total solar eclipse took place on March 8th and 9th in 2016. If viewed from the east of the international dateline, for instance from Hawaii, the total solar eclipse took place on March 8, 2016 according to local time, and elsewhere on March 9, 2016. Total solar eclipses occur when the moon comes between the sun and the earth and casts the darkest part of its shadow, the umbra, on earth, and the darkest point of the eclipse is almost as dark as night. The eclipse of March 8th and 9th, 2016 had a magnitude of 1.0450, visible across an area of Pacific Ocean, which started in Indonesia and ended in the north of the Pacific Ocean. The eclipse was clearly visible in many parts of Indonesia, including central Sulawesi and Ternate, but obscured by cloud cover in Palembang, the largest city on the path of totality. The eclipse coincided with Nyepi, a public holiday in Indonesia, and the end of the Bali Saka calendar. Because Nyepi is normally a day of silence, so Muslims who live in Bali had to be given special dispensation to attend special prayer services during the total solar eclipse. On March 9th, 2016, a large area of the Pacific, which covered countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, but also large parts of Southeast Asia and Australia, witnessed a partial solar eclipse. It was total in Indonesia and the Central Pacific, starting at sunrise over Sumatra and ending at sunset north of Hawaii. In the Eastern Pacific Ocean, the totality exceeded the duration of more than 4 minutes. In most parts of India and Nepal, the sunrise partially eclipsed, and much of East Asia witnessed more than 50% partial eclipse. It was March 9, 2016 morning, the mystic spectacle of a total solar eclipse, as only a partial eclipse was seen from some places in the country, which began at 4:49 a.m. and continued till 9:08 a.m. Have you heard about the strain of bacteria which is capable of eating plastic? At least we've never heard about it until we discovered this news. A recent report from the World Economic Forum has revealed that by 2050, the number of fish in our polluted oceans will be outweighed by plastic waste. The World Economic Forum report was based on analysis of 20 studies and interviews conducted with over 180 experts. This really is a serious environmental challenge that we will have to face for a very long period of time. Over 5 trillion pieces of plastic, weighing an astounding 269 into 100 tons, are estimated to be clogging our planet's oceans. But in the first week of March 2016, the discovery of a strain of bacteria dubbed Idinella sciensis that can eat plastic offered some hope in an effort to control the menace of plastic pollution. After 5 years of serious searching through 250 samples, a team at Kyoto University in Japan was able to isolate a bacteria, Idinella sciensis, that could live on PET, a common plastic used to package bottled drinks, cosmetics, clothing, and household cleaners. The findings, which are published in the academic journal Science, say that Idinella sciensis breaks down the plastic by using 2 enzymes to hydrolyze PET and primary reaction intermediate, eventually producing basic building blocks for an absolute growth. The new strain of bacteria seems to have evolved an efficient enzyme that it produces when it is in an environment which is very rich in PET. According to the report by the Japanese research team, it took the organism 6 weeks to break down a thumbnail-sized silver of PET at 30 degrees centigrade in laboratory conditions. The discovery could be really good news for the environment. Almost a third of all plastic packaging escapes collection systems and ends up in nature or clogging up infrastructure. So we could actually use this discovery to develop new ways to tackle the Earth's growing plastic waste problem. Some plastic can take between 400 and 1,000 years to decompose. PET plastic never biodegrades, which is what makes the discovery of the new strain of bacteria very remarkable. This opens a new approach to plastic recycling and decontamination. At present, most plastic bottles are not truly recycled. The PET digesting enzymes offers a way to study and truly recycle plastic. Isn't it good news that a plastic-eating bacteria is on the way? Hi Facebook friends and Facebook users, there's something interesting for you. Facebook friends and Dunbar's number. An unusual study has found out that people cannot have 500 or 1,000 friends on Facebook. Remember that 500, 1,000 friends. The study has found that anything over 200 seems too hot for an individual to handle. A paper in the journal Royal Society Open Science has said humans can nurture no more than 150 true friendships on social media like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram because of limitations on the human brain's capacity and the free time available. Anything above 150 is acquaintances or people recognized on-site. This theoretical limit of 150 friends has come to be known as Dunbar's number, after Robin Dunbar, the British evolutionary psychologist who is credited with having coined and popularized the concept of 150. So Dunbar tells us that we have an average 150 friends, 500 acquaintances, and 1,500 people we recognize on site. 150 is the number of people with whom we can maintain a meaningful relationship, whether in a hunter-gathered society or on Facebook. From the size of an animal's neocortex, the frontal lobe in particular, one can theoretically predict the group size for that particular animal. When Dunbar made the mental leap to humans by using a ratio of neocortical volume to total brain size, he came up with this number, the Dunbar's number 150. So folks, if you're on Facebook and have more than 150 friends, it is time for you to unfriend or block some of them or many of them, because as the above study suggests, that anything above 150 is something that you just won't be able to handle. So Facebook viewers, just remember, Facebook friends and the numbers number, that is 150, number of friends. Now let me take you to the world of the periodic table of elements, which means to the world of chemistry. 4 new elements add color to the periodic table of elements. After 4 new elements were verified and confirmed on 30th December 2015 by the United States-based IUPAC, the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, chemistry textbooks around the world are officially out of date. With the addition of 4 new elements to the periodic table, finally the 7th period of the periodic table of elements is now complete according to the IUPAC, which is the global organization that governs chemical nomenclature, terminology and measurements. The 4 new elements added to the periodic table of elements are those with atomic numbers 113, 115, 117 and 118. As of now, all the 4 newly discovered elements have been given temporary names. Element 113 has been unofficially been named Untrium. This is the first element to be discovered in East Asia, element 113. Kosuke Morita and his group at the Riken Nishima Center in Japan first claimed to have discovered this element in 2004. They are more than happy to see their element find a place in the periodic table of elements. This will also be the first element to be named in Asia when element 113 gets a permanent name. Elements 115 and 117 have also been given temporary names, Unpentium and Unseptium respectively. These 2 elements were discovered at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in the US, the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Russia, and Oak Ridge National Laboratory in the United States of America. All these 4 elements are classified as super heavy. So this is a designation given to elements with more than 104 protons, was created by using particle accelerators to shoot beams of nuclei at other heavier target nuclei. Elements heavier than Rutherfordium, that is element 104, are referred to as super heavy. They are not found in nature as they undergo radioactive decay to lighter elements. Now that the 4 elements have been officially been approved by the IUPAC, the process of giving them a permanent name will speed up. All the institutions involved in creating the new elements will get to choose permanent names for them. But this is going to take some time, as the new names and symbols will have to be approved by the Inorganic Chemistry Division of IUPAC, and then it will be submitted for public review. According to the IUPAC, a new element can be named after a mythological concept, a mineral, a place or country, a property or a scientist. And with the discovery of these 4 new elements, the race is already on to discover elements 119 and 120. Although most of us remember pi from our school days as being the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, but few of us are aware that we actually have a day which honors this mathematical special number. March 14 is celebrated annually as Pi Day because the date resembles the ratio of circle's circumference to its diameter, 3.141 5926 5359, or in short 3.14. Pi Day is observed on March 14th, so we write it in 3/14 in the month, day, date format as 3, 1 and 4 are the first 3 significant digits of pi. The day has been celebrated for the past 27 years. It was celebrated for the first time in 1988 in San Francisco by physicist Larry Shaw, who led an enthusiastic crowd of Pians to celebrate the special mathematical day by actually eating pie. It even has governmental backing. On 12 March 2009, the United States House of Representatives passed a non-binding resolution recognizing March 14th as National Pi Day. Let us now try to look into the history of pi. Archimedes of Syracuse, about 287 to 212 BC, is credited with doing the first calculation of pi, while British mathematician William Jones came up with the Greek letter and symbol for the figure in 1706, which was later popularized by Swiss mathematician Leonhard Euler beginning in 1737. Last year's date, 3.14.2015, was especially significant because it matched the first 4 digits after the decimal point. This year, 2016, some math lovers have called 3.14.16 rounded pi day, rounding up those 4 digits. With pi being celebrated all over the world, we at least hope that every school in this part of the world will also celebrate Pi Day, at least from 2017. In this episode, we also look into some of the organs that humans can live without. The list is long, but for this episode, we'll keep it to 5 organs that human beings can live without. The human body has gone through several important modifications that eventually led to more complex and efficient organ systems. During this journey, some organs became redundant. So here we take a look into 5 organs that humans can live without. Lung. Can you live without one lung? The answer is yes, yes you can. You might be a little short of breath, but living with one lung is perfectly possible. It will of course limit your physical ability, but actually doesn't prevent you from living a relatively normal life. So one lung, it's fine, you will live. The second organ that you can actually live without is the kidney. You can cope quite well with just one kidney, but if you lose both, then you need to use a dialysis machine. And the third organ that can leave you perfectly okay, you may not have it, is the stomach. A gastrectomy surgery, which is to remove your stomach, can be required to treat cancer and ulcers. A total gastrectomy will result in your esophagus being directly connected to your intestine, which will have a long-term effect on diet and digestion, but you can still survive. So after stomach, the next organ that a human being can live without is the appendix. Is it a vestigial organ or part of an immune system? So even the medical jury of fraternity is still out on that question, but it is very clear that its removal does not cause any problem. So you find the appendix as well. And the last organ that we discussed today that humans can live without is the spleen. The spleen, as we understand, cleans of blood and fights infection. But if illness or injury necessitates its removal, other organs can compensate for its loss. So even without spleen, a human will be perfectly clean. So we've come to the end of the second episode of the KSC Science Channel. And before we go, on 28th February 2016, which is celebrated all over India as National Science Day, even Kalimpong Science Centre celebrated it with the launch of a science newsletter which is available both online and in print, and also the launch of the KSC News Channel. And every year for the past, I think since 2014, ever since the Clean India movement has started, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which was launched by the Prime Minister of the country on 2nd October 2014, folks at the Kalimpong Science Centre for the past 2 years, every Thursday, they have been cleaning the compound and helping to keep the place absolutely clean. So with this, we close the second episode of this presentation. Thank you.